Hi folks, I'm Tom Vicka here, and we are going to talk weather and a lot of it. We have our tower cam views. First of all, I'll start you off with the view from Alexandria there on Texas Street, Sinlaw Broadcasting Tower, 68 degrees there. Dew point 60, there's a little moisture in the air, and that's going to be a determining factor in how severe the weather gets here overnight as a very vigorous weather system moves through the area. Now let's jump up over toward LaSalle Parish and say hello to our friends up there. Gina with 68 degrees, still see some clouds, uh, and a partly cloudy sky over in that direction. And if you notice, you can see the clouds moving, and that means that, of course, with the satellite picture, you can see that south to north flow movement of the atmosphere, moving the clouds in that direction. So the Gulf is open for business, pushing moisture up in this area in response to the big weather system out west, which is heading this way. We did see a few what we call streamer showers because of this moist flow and the low levels of the atmosphere. A few showers are able to bubble up, nothing big or heavy or severe or anything like that yet. The atmosphere still remains fairly well capped, which means that there's a lid on things right now. We're going to have this major weather system out west to come into the area, lift the atmosphere violently, and blow that lid off before we see any severe potential, and that will be in the overnight period. Here's your satellite and radar combo showing the surface low moving southeast through the panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma. You see some clouds behind us, got a winter section to it, and of course temperatures are dropping out in the panhandles right now as that cold air comes in ahead of it. We'll get the moisture return, and again, this is the surface reflection of the upper level system energy that's coming through. Now here's a look ahead. This is today. The strong weather system's moving through the Rockies. Out ahead of it, you get the surface low developing through the Texas-Oklahoma panhandle. So weather systems are three-dimensional, kind of slanting back from the surface aloft to the south and southwest and west there into the Rockies. So that system will be moving eastward, and by Friday, that thing will sweep through. It's just going to zip through, folks. This is a fast mover. That will keep the rain totals down, but there's a lot of energy involved with this. And you can see by Friday evening, the rain's way off to the east of us, and it'll be a big storm for our friends up across the Great Lakes, Midwest, and across the Atlantic coastline. By Saturday, it's a much calmer day here in Sinlaw as we get that energy well away from us toward the east. Here's Futurecast for you, our in-house model indicating by your morning commute. The good news is I think just about everywhere the rain is over with. Again, that's that quick motion that's going to be moving through here really quickly. The weather system very strong, and again, that's kind of typically what happens with that. You can see the rest of the day it clears off very quickly during the day. Friday, Saturday is a good day, just some high clouds across the area as you see in this model coming in. But you also notice the clouds are moving quickly, so some of that energy remains, but it's well upstairs. Severe outlook through Friday morning gives a little bit of a risk here, limited risk. Now, the highest risk of severe weather is up in the Arklatex. You can see that in the Shreveport area, northward and northeastward, southwest Arkansas, southeast Oklahoma, somewhere in those locations. That is where the strongest forcing is going to be. That energy is really going to pump through that area just to the north of us. But we will be close enough, too, to have a risk, as we'll see that influence from that strong dynamic system. Overall, we'll see, again, that limited risk here across the area. I usually use three categories: limited, significant, and high. So we're in the limited category. If you want the SPC numbers, it's a level 2 across most of Central Louisiana, which they call slight. I don't really have any flood risk with this. Moving too quickly, and the moisture profile is not that great. Wind will be the main threat, and we will also have wind from two sources. One will be the potential for thunderstorm winds or winds with convection, but by the time we get the frontal passage, we'll see just strong pressure difference winds because of the strength of this weather system as it moves through the area and heads toward the east quickly. In both cases, we will see winds 40, 50 mile per hour in gusts. Thunderstorms could bring 60 to 70 mile per hour wind gusts, and that gradient wind, as we call it, with the frontal passage, 40 to 50 miles per hour in gusts. So hail and tornado would be the secondary threats. A lot of low-level shear with this. The key factors, well, all right, let's look at the details. What to expect here in Sinlaw. The timing will be about 2 to 8 a.m. Friday, so a fairly quick window. at any one location, probably an hour or two is going to be the time that there's really takes time for that band of convection to kind of sweep through the area. So the scope and intensity is limited. That's important. So that means enhanced events like hail larger than golf ball size. It's not going to happen here. Wind gusts in excess of hurricane force, over 75 miles per hour. Don't expect that, and we don't expect any upper end tornadoes, EF2 rating or greater. So again, I can't say that's not a 0% chance, but it's unlikely that we'll see the enhanced events. There's two main reasons why. First of all, the instability is weak, and that means that the updraft vitality will be weak. The second thing is, the key factor too, is that the low-level moisture profile, although surface dew points are in the 50s and 60s, which is adequate for severe weather this time of year, the profile is not that great. The octane is not high. The quality of the low-level moisture is poor, basically. Also, the low-level moisture profile is shallow. We want them generally for a lot of severe weather or a higher risk of severe weather than the limited category we're in. We need a deeper low-level moisture source. And we don't see that with this particular situation. And kind of another factor that's important as well is that the strongest forcing and the strongest lift in the atmosphere stays north of Sinlaw. And so that is why the enhanced, the level 3, if you will, which would be significant in my category up in the Arklatex, southwest Arkansas, southeast Oklahoma, northeast Texas. That's why it's up there and not down here. So again, but we do have potential because it's a strong system and we are definitely going to feel the energy from it. Now let's go into some of the hyper-local information here for Sinlaw. This is going to be one of those backwards days. We've been hearing about the Arctic front, but there's a respectable front coming through with this system, folks, and this is what it's going to do to us. Friday morning highs, in the 60s. So ranging from the lower 60s north, middle 60s, maybe a few upper 60s elsewhere. Then I've got 6 p.m. temperatures that I expect Friday evening, about the time many folks will be sitting down to dinner, maybe going out to get something to eat. Temperatures will be already falling into the upper 30s. I got 39 for Natchez, Winfield, Manny, about 40 degrees. As you head south and east, temperatures get a little higher. Mid 40s for Opelousas, Marksville, maybe middle 40s, lower 40s here for the Alexandria, Pineville metro. So be ready for that temperature change. Remember, that's opposite of what it normally is. Normally it's colder in the morning than it is in the afternoon. It's going to be the opposite for your Friday, so be ready for that. And rain timing through Friday morning, it's got kind of a blanket coverage of 90%. I think just about everybody gets wet out of this deal. Amounts, because of the poor low-level moisture quality and the quick movement of the system, will hold amounts to an inch or less. So very little, if any, flood threat there. Now looking ahead to the Arctic outbreak, cold front number 2, if you want to call it that, this is the one that's getting all the headlines, and it should. This will bring the lowest temperatures that we've seen here in Sinlaw since December of 2022. That Arctic blast just before Christmas. I think it came through on the night of the 22nd of December that year. All right, 7-day forecast. Windy day on Friday, 40 to 50 gusts behind the front there. And then the front comes through that 90% in the AM Friday. We outline at the 2 to 8 a.m. 27 degrees, that 42 again, your evening low temperature. And then 27 for Saturday morning, we get that. That's going to be among the coldest mornings that we've had so far in the winter of 2023, 2024. And so that's not going to last long as you see what's coming up. All right, Sunday, 32 and 52 degrees. We're going to see the front come in. Some models are really tricky with the front, oscillating it kind of back and forth. It's coming in and out, things like that. So there's been some tug and some differences in model opinions about the front. So I'm just going to put the front with an exclamation point, knowing, hey, this is a big front from kind of straddling the Sunday-Monday time frame. By Monday, we'll start feeling the full blast of a cold air. 28 for a low, 35 only for a high temperature. And that means that there will be some precipitation that will cloud up Monday, and we'll see a mix of some sleet and freezing rain and rain with this deal. I think, kids, I think the snow stays north of us this time. And then very quickly on Tuesday, it will clear off as the front really settles in as the upper level disturbance to the north of us passes to the east, that will kind of open the door to the front, and it will just literally kind of blast in and reinforce itself there as we head into Tuesday. So a nosedive in temperatures Tuesday morning with a low of 17. And many folks will not get above freezing on Tuesday. Some folks will get in the mid-30s. Others could stay as cold as the upper 20s to around 30 degrees. So that will be one of those days. This is going to be an everything type of cold wave with the people, pets, plants, and pipes with this stuff. And by Wednesday morning, as the high pressure weakens a little bit but settles overhead, right over central Louisiana is the prognosis right now. I'm going down to 13 degrees. Now remember, this is an average. There could be some readings colder than this in Cenla, and of course there'll be some readings warmer than that, but suffice it to say, pretty much the teens everywhere. And this, of course, these two readings, Tuesday and Wednesday morning, that is in my severe freeze category. So take that into account. Again, as I said, it's a 4 Ps outbreak here. 26 and 52, warming up, if you want to call it that, for next Thursday. Clouds on the increase with a little system coming through the upper level flow, and I'll throw in a 20 cents worth there on the rain chances. All right, I've talked enough. A lot to talk about here, a lot to unpack. And Nick Mikios will be back with you for Friday morning, and of course, so monitoring the severe weather possibilities during the overnight period and the Friday morning period